right. And then the last segment I want to cover here is going to be a city-sized patch of fallen trees is piling up in the Arctic, in Arctic Canada, or Canadian Arctic is what I was trying to say in my head. Some of the trees of this world's largest log jam may be thousands of years old. Let's check this out. Pretty wild stuff here. Deep in the Canadian Arctic, you can find a 51 square kilometer, 20 square mile pileup of fallen trees and ancient wood. Scientists have recently mapped this wood pile up, the largest log jam in the world, and believe it's likely to be having a massively underappreciated impact on our planet's carbon cycle. The pileup is located at the Mackenzie River Delta in Nunavut, the large and most northern territory of Canada. In a new study, scientists at Colorado State University used high-resolution satellite imagery and deep learning artificial intelligence to map the vast wood deposit. Altogether, it's almost as large as Manhattan, but it can be broken down into 4,000 miniature caches of wood, the largest of which covers around 20 American football fields. Trees act as a carbon sink for the planet, sucking up carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and storing it in their wood. As such, they have a significant impact on the level of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and climate change. However, the researchers say log jams like this are often ignored when it comes to their impact on the wider environment. There's been a lot of work on the fluxes of carbon from water and sediment, but we simply didn't pay attention to the wood until very recently. This is a very young field of research that is developing quite fast, and it's important to study this wood not only for the carbon cycle, but in general for our understanding of how the natural fluvial system works, how the rivers mobilize and distribute the wood. Virginia Ruiz Villeneuve, a fluvial geomorphologist at the University of Lausanne, who was not involved in the study, said in a statement. This latest estimate calculated that the logs in the Mackenzie River Delta stored about 3.4 million tons of carbon, which is a significant quantity even on a global scale. To put that in perspective, it's about 2.5 million car emissions a year, explained Alicia Sindorovsky, a research engineer who led the study with Colorado State University. That's a sizable amount of carbon, she said. Since this survey was only able to measure the surface of the logjam, it wasn't able to calculate the wood that was hidden beneath, meaning the true scale of the driftwood carbon store might be even higher. I'm going to mute to clear my throat. Wood has piled up here for a few different reasons. Firstly, drift in the Arctic has a habit of being transported across vast areas thanks to its expansive boreal forest and network of high latitude rivers. Secondly, the Mackenzie Delta is huge, allowing heaps of felled wood to congregate. Lastly, the Arctic's cold and often dry condition means the trees can remain in perfect condition for tens of thousands of years. The researchers note that some of these trees in the logjam look like they fell last winter, but they're actually decades or centuries old. Carbon dating has revealed that many of these trees are likely started growing in the 20th century, while some have been dated as far back as 1,300 years old. However, there's a decent chance the logjam is holding trees that fell thousands upon thousands of years ago. So, carbon in our environment and ways to contain it. Is this a new thought on how to deal with our carbon problem in the environment currently? I don't know. Is this notion of the fact that industrialization has basically done away with deadfall in all but the most primeval of forests. Most people, even not most people, even people who have land that they hunt, generally try to keep it clear of timber, fallen timber and things like that. I mean, of course, they do. It does retain a little bit, but nowhere near what you would have expected even just 100 years ago. That's the thing about deforestation in general. It's not just, you don't get that you can't restore that. You can't restore old growth, and you can't restore that ecology that gets racked by that. And you can't bring back that decay that's needed at the base level. There needs to be a base level on an ecological scale. There needs to be a base level of decomposition that the whole thing is built on, right? That's the nutrients. That's also where the carbon is trapped. But when we clear our forests, when we do burns on these types of environments, it's just overall it's bad. It's contributing to this problem. But now that we kind of are starting to explore the storage of carbon in woods, I don't know if we know which wood types are better at storing it at this point, but I'm hoping to see more come from this type of research as far as maybe some systems of carbon filtration in our natural carbon filtration parks or something that are allowed to pull carbon from the environment. And I mean, we have national parks now. All we have to do is protect them, maybe expand them, maybe. I think that having instead of doing here's a notion, right? Instead of having because we have national parks and state parks, right? We have tons of them. But what if each county in the state had a public wildlife area that they were responsible for, and all the people can contribute to it and be proud of it. They could all contribute to cultivating the indigenous species that thrive there, and just as a state pride thing. I mean, you could even rope the nationalist in on this, saying, "Hey, small government in control of a local wildlife refuge that they take care of and take pride in keeping the water clean and keeping their native species in check and knowing." And keeping out invasive organisms and accommodating the world that we share with nature, the world that we share with all these other organisms, and be proud of it. Say, hey, this is our land. Our land is beautiful. We take care of our land. These are our creatures. This is our forest. That there's people in this county. Each county could do it, like across the country. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Everybody takes part in that and dedicates. Whatever swath of land it is, do your horrible eminent domain thing over some land, but then dedicate it to this kind of care, right? Dedicate it to saying, hey, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to take pride in our region, and our little corner of the world is going to be beautiful. Think of it as your little shire, like the Hobbit, right? This beautiful place that's well tended and cared to, or cared for generations later to see, and you take pride in that, right? Let's do that. Let's move our culture in that direction. That's what I'd like to see. I don't know if there's support for that kind of movement, but I can only help. Anyway, thank you for joining me today live from the Hive. This has been EcoNews, and please remember to be kind and take care, and we will see you next time.